Redditors who took terrible advice from r/relationshipadvice. What happened? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will end our relationship. I didn't follow the terrible advice that they gave me. I posted there once basically to rant that my girlfriend and her roommates had given a temporal home to a street dog, and now that they had to move, the roommates wanted to get rid of the dog, put it to sleep, or put it back in the street, because their new apartment didn't accept pets. So I took the dog in my home, and I was stressed, because it was the first week and the dog was a handful, and the roommates didn't care at all. Relationship advice? Give the dog to a shelter, because you will never love it, and break up with my GF, because she's a horrible person and you will resent her. I literally said this is the beginning of the end of your relationship. What did I do? Talk with my GF. Tell her I felt frustrated, and that I really disliked that she and her friends had taken the dog out of the streets without thinking of the future. She told me she understood that, and that she was going to pay for everything the dog needed until we, as a couple, could move in together, but that she wasn't going to act like the dog wasn't her responsibility. 2 years later, she has always paid for the food, vet, checkups, everything. And we are moving in together soon, and taking the dog with us. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't listen to that terrible advice. Edit. Apparently you can't mention a dog in Reddit without posting pics, so here's a picture of my dog https://unga.com/a/301t7 meters. So many people on that subreddit forget communication is a thing, and go right to telling people to break up. I almost laugh at all those comments now. So predictable. Break up immediately. Don't talk it out. He/she is psychotic. Hire a lawyer. The only thing we know about them is the worst about them. I think that gets inflated into them being all bad. Ops should have to post one nice thing too. She set my bed on fire, but she does make great banana bread. Nah man. It's just unhappy people who want to drag you down to that's why I try not to give people personal advice. I never know if my mood will color it. Your reply pretty much hit the nail on the head. I admittedly scroll through there daily, but have only posted once, to which I received predictably horrible and rather insulting advice. Although only like 3 people saw my post, so I don't post anymore. Only scroll. If I comment on something, I always think to myself beforehand, do I actually know enough to give advice on this particular situation? It's the least I can do, since I try to actually be helpful. Also, people never change. If they did a bad thing 10 years ago, guarantee they will do it again. Once a baddie, always a baddie. A solid 80% of people who seek advice from that sub probably just need to sit down and calmly and clearly communicate with their partner. It's so funny how the agreed upon solution is almost always to break up. I think part of the reason why that's so often the proposed solution also has to do with the way the op presents the situation. It's easy to decide that ops so is a monster that needs to be dumped when we only have ops perspective. But really, there's 2 sides to every story. I bet a lot of people would change their minds if they heard the so side as well. But I also blame this on the Reddit culture of you're either good or bad, and there's no middle ground. There's so much pressure to paint yourself as an angel. God forbid you reveal you're a flawed human being. The hive mind is all too happy to close in and let you know what a piece of you are. One post that stood out for me was a guy asking for advice after finding out his girl was lying to him about where she went one afternoon. The whole comment section rallied with torches and pitchforks, telling him she's cheating and he should just leave. Anyway, turned out she lied cause she got him a lovely birthday present, a snake, cause the guy loves snakes, and met up with a breeder that afternoon to sort everything out. Glad that you didn't listen and just asked her what happened instead. Was that the one where he was planning on buying her an engagement ring and her best friend came over to help him pick one and the GF told him that she was out with a best friend? Lol, I remember that thread. I had found it from r/popular. I remember I had commented something of the sort, where is the trust in your partner if you just jump to cheating after one minor lie like this? It would be way more reasonable to assume something more innocent like getting you a surprise is the reason. The replies underneath: but she lied, obviously she is cheating. There is no such thing as a white lie for something innocent. They should break up now, and he should never trust her ever again. I felt so smug when that update came out, lol. Especially with Eta and relationshipadvice. It felt like people treated as their vote on the turnout reality soap. That since some posts are fake, you can treat just everything as scripted drama for personal entertainment. Knowing Reddit, someone posts on the wrong sub asking how to make sourdough and winds up in therapy, divorcing their spouse. Red flag. You drop these. I read the posts when I can't sleep at night, but have never/will never post. It's like a soap opera over there. I just enjoy reading the crazes. Sometimes when I'm really bored, I'll open any thread in r/politics with 1500 plus comments and scroll all the way to the bottom. That's fun. I never posted, but used to read stories on there all the time. I eventually had to stop because I started getting overly suspicious about my husband. It was ridiculous. I was constantly looking for red flags in our relationship and ended up being the red flag. I haven't been back on there in years. This was kind of me. I've never had a relationship before, but sometimes I get anxiety about the future. Like, what if my future girlfriend cheats on me? I also used to read stories there too, and it boosted my anxiety so bad. Haven't been back there in a while, and I'm feeling pretty gawked. Saw a kid posting about how he wasn't getting along with his parents. They were making him work or something normal parents do, and Reddit told him he should basically confront them and tell them off. Next update post said that they kicked him out of the house. Not positive, but I think the Reddit lynch mob dropped the ball on that one. I get really frustrated by the cut off your family, they're toxic brigade. I mean, it's your own family. There are obviously a few cases where this would be good advice, but for most people it's a terrible idea. Your family isn't perfect, but they are far likelier to be in your life over the long term, unlike many friendships, even close ones, who change and disappear over time. This was not something I understood at 19 or 20, so I'm very glad Reddit wasn't around then. I wasn't the one getting advice, my girlfriend was. We had been together 6 years. Honestly, it had been long distance for a year. We were drifting apart. It definitely wouldn't have lasted regardless. But I went to her place for the weekend. Again, long distance at that point, so that's the only time I'd see her, and she point blank said it was over. There would be no changing her mind. It isn't up for discussion. Go home. It's kinda crazy, but I knew she used Reddit, but I didn't, and didn't know what it was. A couple months later I started using it, and found her by random coincidence. She was commenting on a news article directly related to her team at a university, and based on the username there's no way it could have been anyone else. I made the mistake of looking at her profile and seeing she was very active in relationshipadvice, and once I learned how that place operates it all made sense. This was about 6 years ago at this point, and it still affects me. After that much time, I feel I was at least owed the honest discussion of we need to try to fix this. She was such a major part of my life that it really ate me up for a while. I almost lost my job due to constant panic attacks, just generally being super unstable, etc. Again, it never world lasted anyway, but those assholes telling her to immediately break all ties with me hurt me worse than anything in my life, and it still has lasting effects. I hope you will get over her. I hit the lawyer, deleted the gym, and hired Facebook. I did the cat. Shane Dawson, I wish I could give you an award. That's all Reddit guys, and don't forget subscribe now, or I will end our relationship.